What does 29 years mean?
There are no words. There are no words. You know, no words could properly capture it. There are no words. There are no words.
Even though you're there, why have you stayed true to writing or reporting or being a journalist?
Because there is a crying need for it. If someone in the so-called free world were doing it, then I would not have to. I mean, you know the old saying they used to say, I think it was a series, there's a million stories in the naked city. Well, there are a million stories in every prison in America. But it is so rarely told, rarer still to be written about with any, real compassion or integrity, revelation. Most people, when they think about prison, they think about Oz or something like that, But that's fictional. That isn't even close to the real deal. The real deal shows us that most American prisons look far more like an Abu Ghraib than they do in Oz. I know that a lot of guys watch Oz when it was on, when we had HBO over here, and they would laugh because they said, "Damn, they wish it was like this." They wish it was like that, but it ain't. It ain't even close. It ain't even close. It is a hidden world that's meant to be hidden, and so that's a great motivation to write and to tell the stories that no one else will tell.
What does it mean that 1 in 46 people will do time? What does it mean that our world is defined by we spend more in California on prisons than on education?
Well, I think about Roosevelt's statement about when he was talking about war, and of course he was talking about the military-industrial complex, and he was saying words to the effect like, for every bomber and for every plane and for every tank that takes food out of the mouth of hungry people and poor people, this is the prison industrial complex. And I just read an interesting article in the Monthly Review. The title is "The Penal State in the Age of Crisis." I'm surprised sometimes when I read some of this stuff because it makes the point that a new prison opens in America every week. Think about that. Every week. And if you look at the population of American prisons and you compare it to other countries, say like China or India, China has, I think, 4, maybe 5 times America's population. India, at least 3 or 4 times. Well, America in prisons like 7 times China, and I think 8 times India. So, and the national crime rate, for all intents and purposes, peaked around 1990 and has been plummeting ever since. I mean, if you look at the actual data. So how do you have this kind of crazed increase in incarceration when national crime rates are plummeting? And you know it has nothing to do with crime. It has something to do with kind of the throwaway effect of capitalism.
Or the perpetuation of...
And the industry of prisons and how, politicians can, pimp that industry.
When the Super Predator article came out, it reminded me of your articles.
Yeah, I remember.
Just how they theorize in order to create this commodity.
Right. And then, say, 10 years later, they come out and say, oops, we were wrong. When that super predator theory came out, the states rushed to change their juvenile codes because they believed, the eggheads in the academy. And so they changed their juvenile codes and made them far closer to the crime codes and the penal codes. And thousands of kids were socked away with adult sentences and so forth. Pennsylvania has the highest number of juvenile lifers in the country. When the intellectuals and the right-wing cranks come out and then they say, well, I was wrong, 7, 8 years ago. Does that mean that the law changes? No. Those kids are in a hell that Kafka could not dream of. It's like it's a big bombshell when they come out and make the claim because it plays to national fear. And then years later when they say, oh, well, we were wrong, no one hears it because the damage is done.
So why is it that this beat is so important?
This call is from the State Correctional Institution at Green and is subject to monitoring and recording.
The prison beat, it's just not covered, though it's such a huge defining part of our culture.
And, one would think that in a quote-unquote democracy, that there would be a place for those stories to be told. But, who owns newspapers, especially now, but, certainly several years ago, who owns media? So whoever owns media determines what media will be played. And that's the rub. That's the rub. Well, they tell the stories of the rulers, and they tell the stories that the rulers want told, but they don't tell the stories of the poor and the dispossessed.
Do you do that?
I try. I think I've done more than many, certainly more than most. And, they're not stories you read every place. Give my love to everybody.
All right, you take good care.
All right.
All right, bye.
These commentaries are recorded by Noelle Hanrahan of Prison Radio.